Hello everyone, Taylor Johnson here. I'm calling to give you a report on the July 2022 real estate market in the Washington, D.C. area. And once again, we see that new pending sales are down and new listings are down, but active listings are up. So what this means is we have homes are selling, taking a little longer to sell. There's more inventory to choose from, even though there are actually fewer raw homes on the market. And over here, I'd like to point out to you, the median sales price has gone up again. We're up at $563 now. That's a 2.3% increase from last year. And it's the lowest year-over-year gain in a while. But even so, we are still $50,000 higher than we were 2 years ago. So that's a significant increase over the last 2 years. And of course, the market has slowed down, but prices are still going up. So even with lower demand, we still anticipate increasing in prices. Buyer activity continues to ease through the summer. Pending sales are down 27%. A number of showings were down. And this reflects a cooling of the frenzied competition. And just let me remind you all that 2019, 2020, 2021 were really unusual years. So in many ways, we're just kind of back to normal. Fewer pending sales have led to the first year-over-year inventory increase in a long time. And this inventory is up 15.6%. And yet we still are only 1.3 months of supply. So again, a balanced market we say is around 6 months of supply. Anything less than 6 months is a seller's market. So what this means is the sellers are still dictating terms primarily, but we are seeing that it's easier for a buyer to negotiate, easier for a buyer to get a seller credit or maintain inspection contingencies and so forth. The home demand index is still moderate and is still over 100. So what we mean here is we have a very strong demand, even though it's less than it has been. The market outlook is such that prices began declining in a while. We expect home sales activity to continue to slow, inventory to expand. However, prices will continue to rise in most local markets, though the pace of growth will be slower. And I think this is a healthy thing, actually. 2% growth is a much easier growth to work with than the 15% that we had last year. Something like that, right? It is more manageable. And note here too, in terms of decline in home sales activity, the steepest decline was among attached townhomes and least was among condos. So condos might be where for some time I've seen condos as being kind of the affordable relative best place to look, but it looks like right now people have figured that out, and they're buying in condos and they're not buying in these other categories. And we can see too that in median sales price, the single family detached home prices were up the most at 6.4%. Remember the whole region is 2.3%. While the condo median price went up, actually fell 1.4%. And we've been at roughly 6 days on market for some time. We went up to 7 a month or two ago, and now we're up to 8. So again, homes are selling very quickly on average, 8 days, but there is a little more breathing room if you're a buyer. And the thing to expect here is if you're a seller is that it might take a little longer to sell, particularly if your home is not one that is really in top shape and staged and put together well to sell quickly. Our pending sales, again, the biggest decline was among attached townhomes. And in terms of active listings, the inventory of single-family detached homes was up 32%, attached homes 34%, and condo inventory actually declined slightly. So people have been pouring into condos over the last couple of months versus these other things. And that might be reflective of the fact that for the past 2 years, during COVID, people were looking for space and so forth, and detached homes had the highest rate of appreciation by a lot versus condos. Condos were relatively flat. So now condos appear to be relatively affordable in comparison, and maybe people are starting to move back into cities and things like that. So the detached home is where we're seeing a little more decline in purchases and therefore more inventory. And you can see that showings are down, which is, of course, something you'd expect if the demand is down. Well, let's take a look at local markets here. The supply has surged in Prince George's County. It's up 52%. Frederick County is up 21%. And Washington, D.C. is up 20%. So these are the places where you're going to have greater selection as a buyer. It also means as a seller, there is more competition, right? So you need to make sure that your home is well presented, that it is priced appropriately, and that you have the guidance of a good realtor who can help you through all that process and make sure that your home shines well and according to the competition. Across the region, inventory is expanding largely because of this pullback in activity. DC is the only market where the number of new listings actually went up versus last year. And prices in more places, of course, have gone up. But in some areas, we've seen the median sales price decline, like Alexandria City or Fairfax City. But these are for some relatively difficult numbers to look at, because look at Fairfax City. There's only 32 sales last month. So one sale in Fairfax City could have a big effect on the average, whereas Fairfax County had 1,200 sales. So one sale is not going to have a big effect on that average. This is a more accurate or true number here. If we look at, so Fairfax County, median sales price went up 2.8%, even though there was a 30% decrease in number of sales, and so on. So Falls Church, again, is another very small pocket. One sale can have a big effect on that sales price. But look at Prince George's County. We had a 4% increase in sales price with an 18% decrease in sales and 855 total sales. All right, so this is how you compare these numbers. If we're looking at local markets, again, continued. Our median days on market, as you can see, the average is 8. Washington, D.C. has gone up to 15 days on market, which is a significant increase of 4 days. Everybody else is around 1 or 2. So again, this means you have a little more breathing room as a buyer, and as a seller, it means you should expect your home to be on the market a little bit longer than a week or 2, maybe 3. Here's the telling thing, though. We're still in a situation with months of supply being very, very low. If the closest to 3 is 2.25 in DC, a 3-month supply is still a very, very tight market. What we mean is this is reflective of this imbalance of supply and demand that we've been talking about for some time. There's been an underbuilding of homes for the last 10 years, and for whatever reasons, people are just not putting their homes on the market to sell either. So the actual raw number of listings is down, 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 down. And the number of new households formed, people getting married, people growing older and moving out and buying on their own, it continues to grow. And so we have this demand that's growing while the supply overall is actually shrinking. And both of those together are going to create this tight market and an average increase in sales price. Okay. My name is Taylor Johnson. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams Capital Properties, part of the Eng Garcia team. If I can be of help to you, answer any questions, give you some guidance, just provide resources for you, please reach out. I'm here for you. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Bye now.